Welcome to the Empowered Empaths Self-Protection Bootcamp. As you may know, I am Keely Taverner, a psychotherapist who is passionate about helping people to become their own best friend, to take full responsibility for their well-being in order to unfurl their potential and live an empowered, good life. I'm not here to promote to you that life should be happy and always filled with joy. No. For us to experience joy, we must know sadness. Therefore, we can bathe in the glory of great times, knowing that nothing in life lasts forever. I'm here to help you to understand how to live more fully, so the ups and downs of life don't get the best of you. I'm here to help you to understand that if you don't become your own best friend, you, unconsciously, may become your own worst enemy. And in this bootcamp series, I'm going to encourage you to think and hopefully take action to live an empowered life. Now, one of the reasons why I'm focusing my attention on highly empathic people is because these are the people that often show up time and time again in therapy, confused, battered and bruised and hurt by life, and unsure why loving and being kind and considerate can cause them so much pain, why people take their kindness for weakness, and how they get embroiled in emotional circumstances where they know they should let go, yet they still hold on, and it hurts, yet they fear the freedoms of letting go. I hope you enjoy this small workshop designed to empower you to think and take action. Day one is all about getting you to consider your relationship with your phone. And if you've read my book, Why Love Hurts, you know exactly why I believe it is so crucial for people to audit their phones. Our phones, these so-called smartphones, know more about us than potentially we may know about ourselves. It can predict what we like. It knows exactly where we are and holds most sensitive data about our entire existence. As you may or may not know, algorithms are just a normal part of 21st century living. And if you are not careful, the temptations that are hidden overtly and sometimes covertly in our phones can get the best of us. For many people that show up at the Key for Change offices who are depressed, anxious and stressed out, they've never fully considered the apps, the names in their phones that actually cause them so much distress. This is one of the reasons why I encourage you to audit your phone, especially if life is getting the best of you. You wake up down and depressed, or your doctor has happily recommended medication, yet within you, you know that's not what you want for yourself. Yes, life has got tricky, but you didn't want to be on medication. You also know there are things that you can do or you may need to look at in order to change your life. For many of my other books that are also designed to help empaths who draw narcissistic people to them, because remember, if narcissistic people are selfish, then empaths are highly selfless. And that combination of selflessness and selfishness can create a toxic recipe for the empath, of course, because the narcissist believes that they always win. It's one of the reasons why I never encourage any empath who's been done wrong by a narcissistic individual to seek revenge. You will only harm yourself. Better to learn the uncomfortable lessons from adversity and change your life than to go on campaign revenge. As I said, revenge only hurts you. Auditing your phone is so important for your well-being because, for example, if you've been through a difficult breakup or you have an unhelpful boss that gets the best of you, Smartphones enable us to snoop around, noticing people, observing what they do in ways that we were never able to do 10, 15 years ago. In addition, our smartphones can enable us to hang on at an emotional level. Even if maybe somebody physically has removed themselves from us, we may still hold on, and that is not helpful to us. It's one of the reasons why we need to consider whether we archive phone calls, interactions, people's details, those WhatsApp messages that you keep rereading that takes you down memory lane. You need to think about if it's helpful for you to open up your gallery and see pictures and videos of when situations were very difficult. And if those situations leave you yearning or wishing, wanting for something different, or at worst, beating up on yourself, the question I put to you is it good for your well-being to have this data available to you? Only you know the answers. In addition, auditing your phone is incredibly helpful if you live a life where you're wishing and hoping and wanting situations to change. If, for example, you see someone observing you in your WhatsApp status updates or on your stories on Instagram, the uncomfortable question, is it helpful for you to have that kind of interaction? The reality is sometimes we need to block people, unfollow people for our own well-being, especially as so many highly empathic people are optimistic and hopeful and see the potential in others. One reason why this is so important for us is it can stop you from living in a fantasy. Remember that Mariah Carey song, that sweet, sweet fantasy, baby? Remember that? Hey, big up to the 90s crew. Well, actually, it's living in Fantasy Island that is incredibly unhelpful for many empathic people. Like I said, it evokes our wishing and wanting and hoping for something different rather than accepting the situation as it is. Highly empathic people can have a problematic relationship with hope, often leading to hopeless hope. And hopeless hope can feed into common mental health problems and take the best out of you. Auditing your phone is so important, especially if your intimate relationships haven't fulfilled you in the way that you would have hoped for. You may be hoping for Prince Charming to come and rescue you. The years roll by and a part of you still yearns. We must learn to be grounded in reality. Notice if you feel anxious and depressed, have you been triggered by your phone? Did a name flash up? A status flash by? Or did you observe something on social media that got your heart aflutter? Now, if that situation is helpful and it's mutually respectful and growthful, yes, explore it. But if it brings you down, makes you feel inadequate, or makes you feel as if you're not good enough, you may need to think about what you do. Because memory lane is a very interesting place to visit. I notice when I go down memory lane, I seem to cherry pick the best bits, the epic moments of when it was brilliant. And I thought potentially I had found that right person, the one, like Neo from the Matrix. When we cherry pick, when we go down memory lane, we go for the best bits of a situation. We put a special glare on situation. We see it through rose-tinted glasses. And this is the problem with nostalgia. When we get nostalgic, we think only about the best bits and edit out all the rubbish. This leads to shoulda, woulda, coulda thinking. Anytime you hear yourself saying shoulda, woulda, coulda, it's highly likely you're going to start beating up on yourself. And when you beat up on yourself, you become your own worst enemy. And this is even more profound if you had critical parents, or if you grew up never feeling good enough. When we get on our own case, where no one can hear the brutal, cruel, harsh things that you say to yourself, you become your own worst enemy. And I am passionate about helping people to become their own best friend. For so many highly empathic people, we give away to others what we need the most. We say yes to them. We put people on pedestals. And the uncomfortable question to ask is, why do you do it? Why is it important for you to see the best in others, yet you highlight and humiliate yourself about your own shortcomings? Why is it so difficult for empathic people to offer compassion to themselves? You see, we must be very careful and pay close attention to the situations and the triggers that bring us down, that have us on a low frequency, where we beat upon ourselves. Notice what brings you down in your phone. When we're feeling down, we don't just end up there. There's usually a build-up and a whole sequence of events that we may have not paid attention to that get us to our low points. My encouragement to you is learn to pay attention to what you notice. Don't dismiss it or sweep it under the rug, as many empaths do. What I'm here to help you do is to rip up that rug, reveal what's under the rug, in order for us to inspect it, to see what you've avoided and why. You may not believe it, but there are many benefits to exploring what you have denied. What you deny, what you resist, it only persists and can come back with a vengeance. Now, if you've grown up with low self-esteem, maybe you've come from a dysfunctional family, maybe you were even bullied at school, or potentially, and this is a real factor that often shows up in the therapy room more and more, you follow celebrities on social media and they make you feel inadequate because you haven't got that thigh gap or you can't afford to do X, Y, Z. You must pay attention. My encouragement is you need to unfollow, defriend, in order to best protect yourself. Because if you've never felt good enough, often that will reflect outside of you, in the people, the relationships you have around you, your career choice, even how you dress. You may try to be invisible. You may try not to be noticed or push your head up and go above the radar. You want to stay in the background. Maybe you're not even meant to be in the background. Maybe you're meant to be in the foreground. But that process can take time, and I love my introverts. But so many introverts can hide behind shyness when actually there is a song in you that needs to be sung. But for many of us, especially in the times that we're living in, with so much access to data and information and so-called influencers, we can end up comparing ourselves to others. And we know in comparisons, we will always feel inadequate because we deliberately choose people in higher positions than us to deliberately make us feel inadequate. So when you're comparing yourself, why do you do this? Why wouldn't you compare yourself with someone of a lower status than yourself, huh? We're never going to do that, are we? No, because it wouldn't make you feel inadequate. The challenge you have is often, unconsciously, you make yourself feel inadequate. And if inadequacy makes you then feel depressed and anxious and stressed, we need to pay attention to the stimuli that is getting the best of you. See, one of the reasons why I encourage people to audit their phones is they don't quite realize the power of apps. Apps have a massive impact on people. Let's take, for example, WhatsApp. Toxic family groups, work groups, where dynamics play out now in the digital sphere. You may feel bad at work or not good enough, and then that can be exacerbated in your home life. And that phone follows you everywhere. You are entitled to opt out of any WhatsApp group that brings you down. Or, like I encourage my other clients, why not think about getting a separate phone if you need to be in that WhatsApp group that you can choose to turn off and on at your will? So when you do have holiday, it actually is a break. Pay attention. Pay attention. And maybe you need to delete certain numbers in your phone so you don't get to look at their WhatsApp picture update. Because sometimes those picture updates can be particularly unsettling too. We've all done it. We've all looked. We've all gotten curious. It's very easy to be curious in the 21st century because with access to people in ways we've never had before, we give in to the sensation and go and have a peek. The reality is, if you're looking at your ex-partner as he makes a new life with the so-called woman of his dreams, and that makes you berate yourself or you feel inadequate, you must ask yourself, are you being kind to yourself? In addition, another problematic situation that is showing up more and more frequently in the therapy room is how apps are actually causing us to get in debt. So the emotional issues hurt us, situations that are tricky pain us, and we're ending up remedying that with shopping behaviors. Uber Eats is doing particularly well. Just Eat too. And also let's look at what you buy. Those apps, the Amazon app, 3 clicks away and the delivery is on its way. Is it helpful for you? Is this the reason why you never have any money to save? Do you need to audit your phone? If you're depressed, anxious, and stressed out, I would be so bold as suggest you do. In fact, I'd encourage you to have a block party. Oh, yeah. Shut it down. Block. I remember many years ago when I wanted to block someone I cared about who didn't care about me. A friend was judging me. She informed me that I should be bigger than that and that it was childish to block people. I felt inadequate, and so I left the communication pathway open, only for more mind games, subtle abuse, and game playing. Today, I'm here to tell you, block for your own sanity. Block, and if it makes you feel inadequate, sit with it. But we know we block to protect ourselves from ourselves. So what I'd like you to do is to think about 3 items on your phone where you need to make changes. Who do you need to block? What app do you need to uninstall? Who do you need to unfollow? Notice what makes you feel inadequate. Take an action. In the next 5 minutes, I encourage you to take one simple action to best protect yourself. Uninstall, block, leave a group, or unfollow. At times, this can be more difficult than we may suspect. I'm a massive fan of self-responsibility, but as a psychotherapist who's been in therapy for many years and had incredible support on my journey from checkout cashier to psychotherapist and empowered woman, I know there are times along the journey that we need a companion, a hand to hold, someone to support us. It's okay that it's not okay. Your weakness can be your strength. If you need any help or assistance or feel that you've gone as far as you can, let me know. I'm proud to announce that the Empath Self-Protection course is also available to you, should you desire, or if you need any further assistance, inbox your girl Key. I hope this lesson has been of benefit to you. Do take care of you, because if you don't, who will?